Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Happy day. Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show. We are having confessions and conversations about your everyday life. My name is Yamitra JoJo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with me? Hope you guys are ready to get this morning started. I'm going to share the show right fast. So bear with me. Good morning, and how do you do? Good morning. Good morning. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show. We are having confessions and conversations about your everyday life. My name is Yamitra JoJo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with me? I hope you enjoyed the show yesterday. I hope that you shared it. I hope that you liked it. And if you did, I appreciate you. I absolutely cannot do this by myself. So if you would continue to share, I would greatly appreciate it because we are our sisters keepers together. So let's go right into the quote of the day. The quote of the day is my quote, okay? And it is, hold on one second. The quote of the day is, I am the best. I do not shrink. I have confident expectations. And that is by JoJo Waddell, yours truly. So I chose that quote because I always want to be mindful and remember that I should have confident expectations about what I am seeking to do and what I am trying to do at all times. I should have confident expectations. If I do not have confident expectations, then that means I'm unsure of what I'm expecting, and then everything then is open to interpretation, right? So I have confident expectations. I am the best. I do not shrink. I have confident expectations. So that has helped me many a day when I'm making a decision or when I'm seeking to do something like, oh, I'm a little worried about that. You should always have confident expectations. I'm confident that this is going to work out. I am confident that I'm going to open a bookstore. I'm confident about those things. So when you have confident expectations, your mindset becomes different. You know what I'm saying? Good morning, Debbie. Good morning, my cousin. I know I've got to y'all. I've been trying to call my cousin Debbie. And every time I say I'm going to call her, I truly forget. But I love you and I'm going to call you, I promise, this morning. So that is the quote for the day. I am the best. I do not shrink. I have confident expectations. And that is by Yamitra JoJo Waddell. So let's go right into the thought of the day. So I like to share steps or things that's going to help you guys. Some things that I've used that have helped me. So today I want to talk about when you feel overwhelmed. This has helped me when I felt overwhelmed, when I felt stressed, when I didn't know what to do, or when I was like, in that crazy space where, and I don't know if any of you guys have been there where everything is crazy, but you can't stop, because if you stop, it will all fall. And so you got to keep continuing with the crazy so it doesn't fall, but you hate it, but you can't stop it. It's called a rock in the hard place. Yeah, been there and done that. So this is what helped me when I was in between that rock and the hard place. This is something personal that I do. I haven't done it in a little bit, but it helps. I teach it to my children, and it has helped with their anxiety, because my one of my babies had anxiety after yin yang, and then we started to, and I don't know where this exercise came from, but it worked. So for me, this is how I deal with stress and overwhelm. When something is stressing me out, and it's usually right before you go to bed that it intensifies, or right when you wake up, that everything is coming to your remembrance, when you're like, oh my God, I forgot to do this, and I got to do this, and a decision has to be made today. Whenever I feel that moment, I get quiet, because the 5 steps live past crazy. Number 1 is to be quiet. I get quiet, and in my mind's eye, I am sitting at a lake, right? I take a deep breath, and in my mind, I'm sitting at a lake that I used to go to as a little girl to fish with my mama. And the lake is beautiful. And there's this huge oak tree right off the lake. And it has that nice mossy grass, that thick grass. And I used to pull my blanket up under there, and I would read my books. I would drink my soda, eat my potato chips. I had myself a wonderful time under that tree. So this is what I do when I'm stressed and overwhelmed. I find myself thinking about that lake, sitting under that tree with a beautiful breeze, the sun shining. I'm completely relaxed. And out of nowhere drops a little red bucket. Now, this really came about in my prayer life. When I was praying, I was like, oh, I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so stressed. And, God was like, well, if you give me everything, I could take care of it. And I was like, oh no, I got this. I don't need any help. I got it. And I wouldn't give him everything. And so in the beginning, this happened when I first left my abuser, and me thinking about a calm place would help calm my anxiety down of thinking he was coming to kill me or he was looking for me. And so when I'm sitting there under the tree, a little red bucket drops out of the sky. And at first I was like, so what's this red bucket? And God was like, put everything in here so that you can have some peace for a minute. So in the beginning, I put little things in there like, oh, the kids getting on my nerves, dropping a bucket. I don't like my job, dropping a bucket. I don't understand this, dropping a bucket. I'm stressed about that, dropping a bucket. And I will put little things in a bucket, but I will hold on to the bigger things, like how am I going to pay the rent? How am I going to pay the light? How am I going to pay the water? The gas is off. I don't have gas in the car. I can't make the car insurance payment. Oh, and I would hold on to the big things, but I would put the little things in the bucket. And then what started to happen is that the bucket would never disappear. And I was like, oh, but I put stuff in the bucket. But the reminder kept coming that everything is not in the bucket. And I was like, oh, everything like what? Everything that is on your mind that is stressing you out, that is causing you to worry or panic or feel overwhelmed or feel anxiety, whatever that thought is, put it in the bucket. So I was like, okay. And if y'all know me, I am a recovering Miss Know-It-All. And I don't want to ask nobody for nothing. That's me. But I was like, oh, I don't have to put everything in the bucket. But the bucket would not disappear, and I could not go to sleep, and I could not relax until everything was in the red bucket. And so what I learned to do, and this was a process over time. So this is what I would do over time. So if I was stressed, and I still do this, like I said, I do this, I teach it to my children, and I share this red bucket story with everybody in hopes that it will help them. So when on any day that I'm feeling stressed, I'm going to picture that lake, I'm going to picture that tree, and the little red bucket drops out of nowhere. And it's attached to a cute little string. But the little red bucket comes. And in the beginning, I did not trust to put everything in the bucket, because he was like, put that in the bucket. Okay, so that's when I put the little stuff, right? The kids on my nerves. I'll drop little things in the bucket, but it was not taking away my stress and my overwhelm. And so I threw little things in a bucket, and he was like, give me everything that stresses you out completely so that I can handle that. And I was like, oh, no, I got it. I got it. I'm going to figure out how to pay the rent. I got it. I'm going to figure out how to do this. I got it. And he was like, put it in the red bucket. And for him, I'm meaning God, the divine, Jesus, whomever you want to call it. Put it in the red bucket. And so I began to, because let me tell you, in the beginning of my journey, and this is a whole different story, me and Jesus, we wasn't checking for each other. I was not checking for him at all. That's a whole different story. So I had to learn to trust him again, to put things. That's why I only gave him a little bit, because I was like, I don't like you, so I give you a little bit. And the more I put the little bit in there, and my stress and my anxiety and my overwhelm went away, the more I put the bigger things in there. And so the more I put the bigger things in there, I became, I ain't gonna say demanding, but I became demanding of things, because then I became to understand, because if you believe in God or whatever, you are a king's kid and you live in the kingdom and you have certain rights living in the kingdom, and it is the king's job to take care of you. And he told us all of this, and so that's okay. And so he takes care of the citizen. He provides the shelter. He provides the food. He provides everything that you need. And so as I began to put things in my little red bucket, and the stress came off of me and the overwhelm came off of me, whenever I felt stressed and overwhelmed, I didn't need to be at home, because usually I would do this exercise right before I went to sleep or right when I woke up, when all the stresses of the day were either still with me or they were coming to me for the day. I could now do this exercise at work or at my desk, or I felt overwhelmed about something at work, like, Lord, how am I going to figure this out? These people on my last nerve. The little red bucket would show up right beside me. Now, this is not, this is mental in my mind, because this is what helped relieve my stress. And so I'd put all my frustration and my fears and my aggravation into that red bucket. And the minute I did that was the minute I felt the relief off my shoulders. And once I felt the relief off my shoulders, I was like, wow, that felt kind of good. So you mean to tell me I can continue to put stuff in this red bucket and not feel this way, not feel overwhelmed? Got it. So then I became a little demanding. I was like, all right, let's do this. I put this in a bucket. Can you hurry up and can you fix this? An amazing thing happened. My mindset changed for the positive. It went back to my quote for the day. The quote for the day comes from JoJo. I am the best. I do not shrink. I have confident expectations. Once I begin to put things in my little red bucket, I begin to have confident expectations. I began to have confident expectations of what I was going to accomplish for the day. I had confident expectations about my friendships, my relationships, my job. I was no longer surrounded by negativity, because I didn't have to deal with me trying to figure everything out, because I put it in that little red bucket. And then putting it in the little red bucket made me, and y'all, this part is in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I didn't know I was doing this till much later, but some people can say it better than you can. When I put things in that little red bucket, I was then able to focus on what JoJo could change. And if you've ever read the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, if you are not, I will give somebody a copy. The first person to send me their address, I will buy you a copy and have it shipped to your house today. In there, it talks about, you have 2 circles, right? And if y'all been with me more than a year, you know the story. You have your circle of influence, you have your circle of concern. So I was always in my circle of concern, which are things that I cannot control. I can push against that rock, I can do all of it, but it ain't my business to be messing with that. And I was not paying attention to my circle of influence. And those are the things that JoJo could immediately impact and change. So before I discovered my little red bucket, before, the divine God, the great, showed me the bucket and told me that this is what you need to do, had no idea. I was just being concerned with all things. And the minute when I started putting things in a bucket, That took away my circle of concern. That took away of me worrying about things that had nothing to do with me whatsoever. They ain't had nothing to do with me. And when I took that off of my shoulders, I now could focus on the things that JoJo could impact. See, I couldn't worry about what they were going to do on the job to me. However, I could focus on JoJo fixing your resume to find you a better job because it's $12.26 an hour. Boo. You got 2 whole children, and this ain't it. When I put my circle of concern in the bucket, my circle of influence became, maybe you need better education. So I went back and got my master's degree. So when I put everything in that little red bucket, because sometimes, y'all, we are carrying things that are not ours to carry. That guilt, it ain't yours to carry. That guilt that your mama gave you about making that decision about your life, I got it, thank you. It is not yours to carry. It's not. That guilt your auntie and them gave you because you don't want to go to church with them no more, that's not yours to carry. Your best friend, the guilt they give you because you want to lose weight and you want to eat differently and you ain't eating this and you ain't doing that, that's not yours to carry. It's not. And so when we carry things that are not ours to carry, it adds to our stress level. It adds to your overwhelm. It adds to your anxiety. And when I discovered how to put things in my little red bucket, right? And the girls know this. When they come to me, Mommy, I'm stressed out. Okay, Kim, let's get our little red buckets. And we're going to take a deep breath. And until they can envision their peaceful place, they go to my peaceful place, which is the lake I used to fish at as a little girl. And I would fish at this lake, and I'd sit under that big old tree with the nice thick moss and grass around it with my blanket. And y'all, I would line this is how much of a nerd I am. I would line my books up on one side, and I would line my cheese puffs and my soda up on the other side. And I would sit there and I would read the books all day long. And so when and that was so relaxing and peaceful. So when I am feeling all of those things, that's when I take that first, and people say, I don't want you to take the word meditation the wrong way. Meditation is simply sitting down to look at your day. It's simply sitting down to quiet your thoughts. It doesn't have to be, oh, I got to find the space and turn up. No, you can meditate absolutely right now. When I've gotten so used to it or good at it now, that when I take a deep breath, I'm instantly calm. Like instantaneously, whatever I was stressed about, it's gone. But that comes with practice. And so I began to do that. When I felt the stress, I instantly would take a breath, and in my mind's eye, I'm at that lake as a little girl, and I'm sitting under that tree with my cheese puffs and my soda, peach, knee-high, thank you very much, with my books. And I'm sitting there and I'm relaxing, and the red bucket comes out. So if I'm driving and I can't close my eyes and I can't do that, the red bucket still appears. And I put my concerns and my overwhelm in that. And the more you practice that, I promise you, the more you will be able to focus on your circle of influence. You can influence the entire world once you understand what it is that you're supposed to do. And when you realize that this is inside of your circle of concern and it ain't got nothing. Y'all, when I figured that out, and Stephen Covey, of course, he says it better. But when I realized it wasn't my job to worry about paying the light and the water, that wasn't my business. My business was, JoJo, one day at a time, day one, honey, get you a better job. Yes, sir. Go back to school. Okay, I got that. Get your PhD. Oh, okay, I got that. Take care of the kids. Okay, I got that. And I didn't bother myself with things that did not concern me. Y'all, stress, I'm telling you, the process to get to that point was hard. I ain't gonna lie. It was hard. But once I got there, I drive my family up a tree. Because they will call and tell me, Lord, my light bill due. I don't know what I'm going to do. The car payment. Oh, Jesus. When I tell you that does not concern me, I'll say, oh, Well, the good thing is you ain't gonna die. They hate that. Or I will say, I can't concern myself with that. Because if I concern myself with things that don't concern me, I am then going to put myself right back into the spot that I just got out of. I'm in stress and I'm in overwhelm. Now listen, I understand life happens, and yeah, we got to pay these bills. I understand that. I'm not negating that. What I'm saying is I don't allow the stress of that situation to consume me, because I need to focus on my area of influence. And so this is how it bubbles over. If JoJo, you can't take care of your family for $12.26 an hour, next step is fix your resume. Got it. Next step is to get a better job. Check. Next step is to get a better education. Check. The next step is to get another better job. Check. The next step is to move out of this neighborhood. Okay, got it. And as you focus on the things that you can influence, guess what happens? As you're changing what you see, you are changing your circle of concern. When you change what you see, you change your circle of concern. See, as I began to make more money, I didn't have to worry about paying that bill. As I got the education, I didn't have to worry about taking that job again. Or I didn't have to worry about somebody telling me this or that again. As I started to do what I needed to do, my circle of concern, my circle of influence, then my circle of concern began to change. I wasn't worried about the car getting repossessed. I wasn't worried about the phone being off, the lights, the water. I wasn't worried about calling my friends and be like, can I borrow $20 for gas? So because that no longer became my circle of concern, because it changed. You see how all of that works together. Once please, and decorate your bucket any color you want. Your bucket can be red like mine. Rosie has a blue bucket and Courtney has a purple bucket. So do whatever you want to do with your bucket. Paint it, honey, put glitter on it. Good morning. You can do whatever you want to do with it. But once you begin to exercise and put things in that bucket and taking the stress off of you, and now you're able to focus on what is good for you to do at this moment, because you just need the next right step. The amazing thing happens. Your circle of concern begins to fade away. See, right now it's prominent. You can see it because you're between that rock and that hard place, okay? That rock and that hard place where I ain't got no choice, but McDonald's from 14 to 23, 22 with a kid and a college degree. Understand? You between that rock and that hard place. I hate this job, but I gotta work it because I need the money until I can find a better job. But I can't find a better job because I gotta work this one all day, and I ain't got no computer at home, and I ain't got no internet. By the time I get home, I got kids and I got this, and I rock in a hard place, boy. I've been there. And you know what you do between a rock and a hard place? You inch your way up. So if you're between that rock and that hard place today, where you can't stop and you can't, good morning. You must know I'm working on my Spanish. Buenos dias. When you in between that rock and that hard place and you cannot stop. You can't stop because it'll fall. And you want to stop, but you can't. Right there, that's where your red bucket needs to come out, okay? And for those that are just joining the Fearless Morning Show, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. We're talking this morning about how I deal with overwhelming stress with my little red bucket. And so for me, I picture my quiet, my peaceful place at the lake. Y'all, it's a big lake. And that tree is so big, and I'm leaning. And eventually, for me, it just for y'all to know, like, my journey of what God looks like to me. He is that. He became the symbol of that tree that gives me shade, that I'm allowed to put my back up against and rest. And so when the little red bucket comes, I can put everything in it. So when you just begin on this little red bucket that shows up for me, the story was when I was stressed and overwhelmed, and I was like, I don't understand. And I was praying, Lord, help me. He dropped a little red bucket beside me, and I was like, well, what is this? put your thoughts and all the things that worry you inside of that red bucket. And I didn't like God at that time. Listen, what we not doing is telling a story. I wasn't checking for Jesus at all. Like, was not. And I was like, why I don't even want to share them with you? Why I want to tell you my business? Like, he ain't in the universe and know everything. So I started to put little things in that red bucket. And the more I put the little things in there and I saw the stress being relieved, of the overwhelm being taken away, I began to put more things in my red bucket. And the more things I put in that red bucket, the less stress I felt, the less fear I felt, the less scared I was to do a thing, the less anxiety I had. Because I had anxiety going to pick up them kids every day. You want to know why? Because I had no money to pay that daycare. My kids went to a 5-star daycare, honey, and it cost 5-star money. And JoJo didn't have no money to pay that daycare. I didn't. So when I walked in, let me tell you, I would talk so fast to them ladies at the front desk as I was keying in to go get my kids. They didn't have time to think about what Miss Waddell didn't pay. Honey, I was going to get up out of there without you asking me where was my weekly and my monthly payment. Period. Stressed. That caused me anxiety just to go pick up my kids from school. It caused me anxiety just to go out to my car and see what no gas in the car. And I knew in that, y'all, I had a red neon. I knew in that red neon, I could get from Raleigh to Cary to Durham if the red light just came on when I started the car, and it hadn't been on the night before, but it came on when I started the car. I could get from Raleigh to Cary to Duke Hospital, and I could get back on just the skin on my teeth to park my car. That meant that gave me all day to pick up change off the street, to ask somebody to borrow some money, or to do something to make some money so that I could have some gas in the car. That was my stress. That's how I was living. Stress for me was, JoJo, you ain't got no more. You done wore this shirt 3 times this week. You need another shirt. You ain't got one. You need some more pants. My stress was, ain't no more washing powders. Let me go wash my clothes with the soap I got. And it ain't a whole lot. Let me wash them soon as I get home so that I can turn on the heat in the summertime and dry my clothes so I can have something to wear to work in the morning. That was my stress. And so for me to begin to trust to put things in that little red bucket, I ain't saying it was easy. I'm saying it was worth it. I'm saying I had to relieve some stress somewhere. And so when God dropped that little red bucket down and said, put everything in here, I gave him the lightweight stuff. You know, Courtney won't do her work. Rosie's doing this. I gave him lightweight stuff until I began to understand the concept of it. Oh, this makes me feel better when I don't have to worry about this anymore. So let me try you, Jesus. Let me put some big stuff. Let me see if you can handle some big stuff. Yeah, I know you run the universe, but you don't know JoJo. Let me put some big stuff in there. Y'all see how crazy this sounds? But that's how I was thinking. And so I began to put, I can't pay the light bill in there. Lord, ain't no water. I can't eat today because ain't no food. Let me put that in there. And when I tell you, when I begin to trust that and I begin to understand the relationship of being a king's kid living in the kingdom, and that I had certain rights and there were certain things I didn't need to concern myself with because that was the king's responsibility. And as a citizen, I have certain rights, right? And so I became demanding. I put it at night, and sometimes I wouldn't even wait till at night. I'd be in the car and I'd be talking to myself, look, Jesus, now this has got to be done today. I can't handle it. I'm stressed out and I can't handle this and I'm overwhelmed on this today. Can you take care of this today? And yeah, I had a little attitude. But guess what happened? The stress was off of me. I didn't feel the overwhelm. I didn't feel the anxiety. And it wasn't until years later that I read The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And it talked about the circle of influence and the circle of concern. And I was so busy in a circle that did not belong to me. And if I could just concentrate on my circle of influence, which are things that I could immediately change, then my circle of concern would change. So my circle of influence was, JoJo, fix your resume. My circle of influence was, go back to school, get the master's degree, go back, get the PhD, JoJo, go back. And here's the thing, don't ask questions. Like, okay, do you see these student loans? But did I ask? And he was like, but did I ask you that though? Or did I say, go do this? I was like, oh, okay. So let me go do this. And then the more I began to focus on my circle of influence, my circle of concern began to diminish. It began to erase away, because what I was changing here changed my circle of concern. So as I stopped making $12.26 an hour, and I became salary, and I got some more zeros behind my name, and I got this and I got that, these other things that I was so worried about before no longer became valid. And that's how the process works. You got to focus on your circle of influence. So in your rock in the hard place, because I've been there, baby. Sister, I understand. Brother, I got you. I know. And until you can pull some gas out your lawnmower into your car so you can get to work, don't tell me you got a rock in a hard place. I understand that picking up pennies off the street so that I can feed the kids. That was my rock in my hard place. When we went to McDonald's, honey, them kids was beyond excited because they hadn't been in a long. Rosie didn't even know what McDonald's was. That's my rock in my hard place. And what you do between your rock and your hard place is you focus on your area of influence. You're going to inch your way up piece by piece. And you do that by doing it day by day. And if you're like me, you can't even focus on the whole day. You do it second by second. Okay, JoJo, for this second, what you going to do, girl? I'm going to do this. Okay, I'm going to do this. One day I'm sharing with y'all my hot pink story. Maybe that'll be tomorrow. And that was truly a rock in a hard place. So you do it second by second, inch by inch, moment by moment, as you begin to drop things in your, and please decorate your bucket any color you want. And I don't know why mine is red, because red is not my favorite color. Blue is my favorite color, but my bucket is red. So decorate your bucket however you feel. Put some sparkles on it, honey, and decorate it however you want. Just as long as once you put it in there, you don't go digging back in there. Because this is what happened for me. The red bucket was always there. And I was like, I've given you everything that I'm stressed about. But the red bucket would never disappear until I truly let everything that I was stressed about, everything that I was feeling overwhelmed about, it would never disappear until I put everything in it. Oftentimes I would go to sleep with a vision of a red bucket knocking me on my shoulder. I'm mad, like, what do you want? And then when I realized that I had to put everything in there, and when I put everything, like I didn't leave nothing left in me that I was not in that bucket, then the bucket disappeared. Isn't that crazy? The bucket disappeared and I was able to sleep peacefully. I was able to take a deep breath and go about my day. And then it became a habit. It became a habit. And I promise that began to change my life. Because the quote of the day, I am the best. I do not shrink. I have confident expectations. That is a quote by JoJo Waddell, A to the Men. And I realized when I started to put things in my bucket that I've got to have a confident expectations of the outcome. Some of us do things and we don't have confident expectations of anything. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to wait and see. That doesn't work well. That will add to your stress and your anxiety. Okay? I promise it will. So you got to have those confident expectations. I am confident that I will have a bookstore. The steps to get there have not shown up yet. Doesn't matter because this ain't changing. I have confident expectations. And some of us have, it's our expectations that set us up for failure in the first place. You go to the job expecting it to be bad. You look at your children expecting them to be horrible. Your expectations is what's driving you crazy because you don't have confident expectations. Now, if you know the situation is bad and ain't no good about to come out of it, that's when, you got to validate that excuse with yourself. That's when you got to validate why you staying or why you not addressing. That's when you got to do that. That part, you got to take responsibility for. But you got to have confident expectations. When you begin this journey and wherever you are, I welcome you to your journey, whatever you call it, whatever name you want to put on it. Judge, I'm just trying to do better for myself. I'm just trying to do this. Okay. And can we start saying the word trying? You're doing it. You ain't trying. Because I used to say that I'm trying to do the morning show, but I get up every morning and I do the morning show. I'm just trying to get my education. Boo, you get up every morning and you do it. I'm just trying to make a better living for my family. You ain't trying, you doing it. You need to have confident expectations. You're doing that thing. You ain't trying on nothing. Trying is when you thinking and you didn't act upon it. You thought it, you intentionally set it out, and you're intentionally working on it. That's doing something. That ain't trying at nothing. You doing that. Can we switch out words today? Just for today. Can we switch out words? I'm just asking. You are the best. You will not shrink. You will have confident expectations. Let's go back to the quote from April the 24th. You are qualified to be exceptional. You are qualified to be exceptional. So a lot is going on between that rock and that hard place. Remember that quote the other day? It says life is a star in your hand, but it's also a melting snowflake. That's where you are. You're melting and you're a star and you're in between a rock and a hard place. Right there is where you realize your superpower is right here. Confident expectations. Because if you can't think that you're going to have a confident expectation, then everything else, it will happen as bad as you think it's going to happen. It will. Because your expectations is that it's going to go awry. It's going to be bad. This is your superpower. Your brain will not ooze out of your ears if you think a good thought. And some people, y'all, I've been there. We think because we got this hard life that we can't think a good thought. I couldn't find a good thought when that woman gave me underwear that somebody had gifted to the store. I ain't have a good thought. I didn't have a good thought. When she said, baby, we don't have a bra to fit you. I didn't have a good thought. Nope. Can't say that I did. No. I can't say that I did. When I was standing in line at the food bank to get food, it was hard to have a confident expectation. I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm saying that I was absolutely worth it. If I'm going to use my power to keep me in the negative, can I not use my power to think in a positive? So that's when it became the extreme. Jojo, you didn't die. So everything past that is a good day. The life, girl, you didn't die. You ain't worried about if you're going to die today. You ain't got no water. Oh, well, you didn't die today. And I began to have confident expectations about everything. Yes, this is hard, but guess what? Tomorrow it won't be. Yep, you may not know the answer today, but guess what? Tomorrow you'll find it because your abundance and your answer is in the instructions. So on this wonderful day, try the bucket exercise. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling all those things, I want you to have a confident expectation about what is going to happen. I want you to be confident that you can live past whatever it is. Good morning. I want you to have a confident expectation that this thing is going to happen. And here's the thing. Be arrogant. Y'all, I got arrogant with my prayer life with God. I got big arrogant. Not only was I demanding when I put things in my bucket, like, okay, all right, dog, work this out. Because I was so glad to have that relief of stress that I didn't have to worry about. I was glad of that. And then I became arrogant, like, oh, I ain't got to, Jojo, if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, which is my circle of influence, I ain't got to worry about my circle of concern. Then I became arrogant. Then I got on people's nerves because they wanted to worry about things that I could not worry about because it was not my concern. It just wasn't. Because I had confident expectations that everything is going to work itself out. And I still do. I have confident expectations. Like, when I lost my job, when I got laid off in 2010, I wasn't worried. They told me, I was like, oh, I hugged them. And I'm still friends with them to this day. And I was like, thank you for this opportunity. I had confident expectations. I had money to pay my bills, confident expectations. I had money to feed the kids, confident expectations. Had a roof over my head. We were doing just fine. Confident expectations. Because if I start to worry, then I'm getting into my circle of concern and not my circle of influence. Your circle of influence are things that you can impact yourself. So grab your little bucket today. And you can do it physically. A to the man, to Shayna. And you can do this physically. Or for me, it's in my mindset, right? I don't need to do it. But if you ever been to one of my events, sometimes I do the red bucket experience, and you get to pick your bucket and you can write. You can physically do this, because here's the thing. When you physically do a thing, it mentally and physically works for you. It will relieve your stress and your overwhelm. Go to the Dollar Tree, get you a bucket. In your bucket every day, and the girls have actual buckets, okay? Get you a bucket and write out everything that concerns you. Now, in my mind's eye, if my red bucket is still sitting here, that means I haven't put everything in my bucket. I haven't put everything that's stressing me out. I haven't done everything I need to. I haven't put it all in there. So you write till ain't nothing left for you to write. That means down to the tiniest. Even in small, my mama get on my nerves, but I don't want to tell her because she might slap me in my mouth. Put that in the bucket. Put it all in the bucket. And then what you do, you can throw it away. You can burn it. It is all for you. That's not your circle of, you shouldn't worry about that right now. That's going to free you up to look at your circle of influence. Now you can decide what you need to work on. What is truly yours to worry about. Because is it truly yours? Because some of us, we're carrying stress and worry that is not ours to carry. Your mama stressing you out, that ain't yours to carry. Nope. Your kids stressing you out, it ain't yours to carry. No. Your job, not yours to carry. Be mindful of what you're picking up that doesn't belong to you. And when I began to understand that, I was like, oh, y'all, freed up so much time I didn't even know I was using up on other people. You're busy because you're in your circle of concern and not your circle of influence. And when you change that and have confident expectations, it starts here. Things start to happen. You will have a confident expectation. You are the best. You will not shrink. You are qualified to be exceptional. So in between that rock and that hard place, honey, you better grab a sticky note so it's before you all the time. I'm qualified to be exceptional. I am the best. I will not shrink. I have confident expectations. And every day you practice putting that stuff in that bucket. You can burn that paper at the end of the day. You can throw it in the trash. It needs to get out of your house. It doesn't need to sit there. And if your house is your mind, you need to relieve it from there. Girl, when I tell you that's the best sleep, try it and come back and tell me. I promise. You can say JoJo crazy. It's okay. I'm the only Live Past Crazy specialist. Because I know crazy. You can say that. But I promise you're going to sleep better. I promise you're going to become clear about what you really need to focus on and what ain't your business. You'll start realizing what you was carrying that wasn't yours, and you can give it back to them. Yeah, no, remember we're honoring other people's boundaries. Girl, I'm going to honor your boundary. I'm going to let you worry. But from this point, I cannot go and you cannot come. So I'm not going to worry with you, but I'm going to honor you and let you go do whatever you want to do. My family hates. When I tell you, I probably get on my family last nerve. Because JoJo, I can't worry about that. I'm sorry. I don't even say I'm sorry no more. I cannot concern myself with that. That ain't got JoJo's name on it. I cannot worry about that. And I don't. It takes time to get to that space, but I promise the more you do it, the easier it becomes. So on this wonderful, absolutely wonderful day, please read that book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I got your message. I will mail you your book today. I just gave away a free copy of it because it talks about the circle of influence and the circle of concern. And when I understood that part, I became demanding about some things. And how I deal with stress and overwhelm is I put them in my little red bucket. And for me, that means my quiet time is under a tree at a lake in my mind. I am there. I feel the warm breeze. I smell the water. There's flowers. I decorate my peaceful place however I want to decorate it. And my little red bucket comes. And as long as my little red bucket is there, I know I've not given up all my stress and my worries. And when I give up all my stress and my worries, the red bucket disappears. And I'm then free to sleep. Some of us can't sleep because our mind ain't never stopped. It's always trying to figure out the answer. And it's screaming for just 5 minutes apiece. And I slept better, and I woke up, and I had confident expectations. So the quote of the day is by Yamitra Jojo Waddell. I am the best. I do not shrink. I have confident expectations. I want you to have even in your rock and your hard place, you can have a confident expectation. And mine was, JoJo, this ain't going to last forever, boo. If you could just keep going, JoJo, and get over this thing, JoJo, I just need you to get over it today. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't think about that. Don't think about 5 o'clock. Think about 1 o'clock, because that's the hour you in. If you can get past 1 o'clock, JoJo, I got you at 2. Okay, you got me? Yep. And y'all, that's how I thought to myself. That's how I acted, and that's how I walked it out. And then it became easier, and every day it became less and less, because I was now focused on my circle of influence and not my circle of concern. So if you're in between that rock and that hard place, do yourself a favor. Have a confident expectation. It's not going to last. Have a confident expectation that you are exceptional, that you will be amazing, that you are great. And inch your way up, sister. Start doing the work. You're using all your energy complaining. When I realized I was using the energy, I could have been using the go to sit. You using your energy to sit still. When you figure out you're using all your energy to sit still, don't get mad at yourself. I got mad at myself. Be like, let me use this energy to move. Inch your way up, boo. Rest when you can. Take a deep breath when you want to. Put it in your red bucket. Focus on your circle of influence. Know that you are the best. You're not shrinking. You're growing and expanding. Have a confident expectation that this will not last. Yep, it may be hard. You absolutely can't see the end in sight. That's called the invisible stretch of the road. And it's okay. That's what your sister's keepers are for. And that's what everybody's for right there. So on this wonderful day, I want you to have an amazing, amazing day. I want you to know that it can be something more than you could ever imagine. Allow yourself to dream today. Go get you a little bucket. Go get your bucket today. Go to the Dollar Tree, get your bucket, and write out all your frustrations and your concerns and worries and put them in that bucket. And then throw it away and get it out of your house. Because if it's in your house, it's going to be like, excuse me, I'm over here in the trash can. Can you come pick me up? And you're never going to be free of that thought. Take it outside, put it in the dumpster, because it ain't coming back. It ain't coming back in this house. And what you'll find is the more you do that exercise, the less and less you become concerned of things that you don't even worry about them anymore, because that's not your circle of concern. And if you don't want to go buy a Dollar Tree bucket, mentally put everything in there. Take a deep breath, honey, and relax and have a confident expectation. I want you to have a confident expectations for the next few days. You're going to be amazing. I promise. If I don't know nothing else, I know that. I know that you're qualified to be exceptional. You're just nervous about it because of the current company you keeping right now. Period. Here's a quote from the other day. You are afraid of the possibilities of yourself. We don't want to, and that's a quote by JoJo Waddell. You are afraid of the possibilities of yourself. Don't be afraid of your possibilities. And that may be the reason why you stuck between that rock and that hard place. Your possibilities of yourself are keeping you there. You are qualified to be exceptional. I am the best. I do not shrink. I have confident expectations. So on this wonderful day, please make sure you share the show, because sharing is caring. If your friends and family don't have Facebook, send them over to the YouTube channel where they can binge watch all the Fearless Morning shows over there. If they like to listen to podcasts, wherever podcasts are listened to, you can find me as the Live Past Crazy Show. If you type in my name, my podcast will show up. I promise I'm the only Yamitra Waddell out there. I promise. So I want you to be peaceful, period, because there's nothing after that. I want you to have an amazing day. And I want you to have confident expectations. You are the best. You're not shrinking. You're growing. And have a confident expectation about that thing. Okay? And don't allow somebody to give you something that ain't yours to carry today. Don't allow them to give you that burden, boo. It ain't yours. Give it back to them. Tell them no. No, thank you. I don't want that today. I have confident expectations today. I don't care if it lasts for a minute. This minute I got a confident expectation. And sister, you better say it. Say it with your chest. No. So have an amazing day. I'll see you guys here bright and early on Monday morning. I want you to be safe. I want you to be peaceful. And please make sure you share the show, because I cannot do this without you. And I'll see you guys bright and early Monday morning. Have a good one.